Hey everybody, in this episode we're going to be talking to Maki and Garth from Volcanic Ash Hot Sauce out of New Hampshire. We're going to talk about how they started their business and how they created a very unique hot sauce. So stay tuned, this is going to be awesome. Hey everyone, welcome to Fire and Flavor. This is Matt. I'm with Maki and Garth from Volcanic Ash Hot Sauce. How you guys doing?
We're great.
Fantastic.
How are you, Matt?
I'm good. I'm glad we were finally able to get together. We've been trying for a little bit. We finally made it happen. Awesome. I'm pumped, man. So let's just hop right into it. Can you share the inspiration of Volcanic Ash Hot Sauce?
Sure. So we had some friends that were regularly going down to Mexico, like around the Yucatan. And one of their trips, they came back with this like jelly jar, really, of this black sauce that tasted not like anything we'd ever had before. It was this really smoky, pretty oily sauce, but it had this flavor that was just unforgettable. And so as our friend group, like there was probably about 8 of us that were just obsessed with it. So we kept trying to recreate it. Like we just were like, what is that? Like, is it
puppy time?
Is it habaneros?
Is it rabbits?
It onions?
Could be rabbits.
Sorry, our mascots are like.
Don't worry about it. It's all part of the fun.
So we kept trying to recreate it as a friend group, and is it like more onions? Is there more garlic? What's in there? And one of my friends got pretty close to making it, and I started bugging him like all the time because I'm not really a cook, which is also interesting. But I love this sauce. I've always loved hot sauce, and this sauce I couldn't forget about. So I decided I was going to start making it too. And over my first batch turned out to be this like, because I knew there was a reduction aspect. And so the first batch ended up being like, I'd cook it and cook it and cook it. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I don't know if I got it or not. I went to bed. I came back out. It was this like charcoal brick. And it smelled like the sauce, but it was kind of a solid. Yeah. So I just added oil, crushed it up, and then that became our first batch of Volcanic Ash. Oh. So what started as this like jelly jar of inspiration. Like our friends just molded it into this competition really to see who could get closest to it. And then my obsession with it like just turned me into a little bit of a hot sauce cook. So that was the beginning.
I really love that. That's actually a pretty cool story. So is it being like this brick, the inspiration behind the name?
Yes, exactly. Because it looked like a pumice stone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we had kind of like as a friend group, we were like, oh, maybe we'll call it New Hampshire Diesel or something. Because it was really this dark, like deliciousness. And we had thrown around some names. But then when I tried to make it, like I overcooked it, and it just became this like it really looked like a pumice stone. And when I crushed it up and put more oil in it, it was pretty gritty. I was like, well, it's got that essence, but this is called Volcanic Ash, and that's how it started. Sometimes people ask us if we actually have volcanic ash in the sauce. We're like, no, just 5 ingredients. Yeah,
that'd be a very interesting flavor profile, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe gross. I don't know,
yeah,
but
gross,
I'm glad there's no ash in this, guys.
There's not.
So this took you 7 years to develop, right? So
yeah,
what
at least.
What kind of challenges?
So what's hard about it is it's not like any other sauce that I've ever tasted, except for like the inspiration sauce maybe, because there's no vinegar in it. It's not a quick cook. It's a reduction.
Right.
And so, first of all, it was like every time we'd do it, like sometimes it would just turn out so hot nobody could taste it. And then it was like, oh, we need a little bit more garlic, or we need a little bit more onions. And a lot of the 7 years was like we had gotten it pretty close to the product, but we were cooking it on the stovetop. And we were just making it at home. And people were like, oh, you should really make a commercial, make this a commercial venture. You should go for it. And I was like, I don't know how to do this because we'd cook it it would take me 2 days to make it and then 3 to clean up. And I would get 40 little jars, these tiny jars after all that effort. And I would eat half of them. So I was like, there's no profit here. Like I got 20 jars to sell. Like what kind of business is that? And so part of the 7 years was like developing the recipe. And part of it was like, how could we even scale this up? Like what kind of equipment could we use to recreate what we're doing in our stove? Because it was like 3 burners like happening with all these different levels of onions and garlic and roasting. We tried. It used to be, to go way back, we used to roast the peppers in a fire pit in the middle of the yard with a bunch of tequila on a Friday night. And then that was like the first night,
That could be why it took 7 years to
Maybe,
figure it out.
maybe. Yeah. And then, we'd bring those like smoky peppers inside. And then the next phase was like, cooking the onions and everything else. So,
By the time we made it to cast iron pans, we thought we were going high tech.
Yeah.
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and then, and then when the idea of like, oh, how we do this commercial, I was like, actually, it was like, how do we make this in the winter? Because the summer batches aren't working and lasting long enough. Then we started trying like other options. Like, what if we roasted in the oven? Would that work? And so all these things, because it was really a hobby. So that's kind of the 7 years is like, I didn't really think it could be commercial because it took so much time to make it. I didn't think that we could really turn it into a business. And then when we were, we started touring a couple commercial kitchens and we saw some of the kettles that are out there and we're like, maybe it'll work. And it was still very much a gamble. The first time we went, it was like 50-50, this is going to work or not. Like, we don't know. And the first cook we did, because it's a reduction, when we used to do it here on the stove, it would take 3 hours or 4 hours to go from the original volume down to what the finished product was. When we went to the commercial kitchen, we knew it'd take longer, but it took like 14 hours.
Whoa.
So, and so it's still a 2-day process. Like, we do all our roasting and all our blending of our ingredients, but then the reduction, if you have 40 gallons of product and you're bringing it down to about 40% of the original volume, it's a slow cook. So it takes a long time. I almost blinded myself.
It's a rough environment to be in.
Yeah.
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 You're in that pepper air, too. So
when it used to be made at home, my daughter and I would have to get out of the house for like the day.
Yeah. They would all
just during the cook part, we'd help.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a team effort getting the peppers cleaned up, getting all the produce ready. But when it came time to cook off,
they would leave me alone.
Everybody would leave.
Yeah.
That's very relatable. That's very relatable. So I've made plenty of hot sauce myself, and my partner, she would help me cut it all up, get it all ready. But the second I'd start cooking, she would be gassed out and she would leave the room, often go and hide and still be choked out. So I
bought respirators.
Yeah,
we did
at one point.
Yeah, I think I saw pictures on your website of you.
Yeah.
Well, so the very first commercial kitchen cook we did, we were sharing the kitchen with a guy that actually made mustard. So he was like, "Oh, I'm totally used to the heat." Everybody left the kitchen, like everybody was crying and their eyes. And then I actually, because they had actually needed to upgrade their ventilation at the time, so I ended up not being able to see well for 2 days after. But the next time we went, it was good. We got all the respirators and stuff, and we realized we didn't need them because there was a little bit better air circulation.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I honestly, I kind of like the smell. I'm not gonna lie, the first, I think what's worst is when you're cleaning the pots and pans after, and the steam just comes up into your face, and you're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
it's so bad.
It's really it.
It's
so
kind of
bad.
like a last minute, at the end when everybody's doing it, it's like, who has to clean those pans? And it's
spoken like somebody that knows,
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Do you guys ever grow your own peppers or anything? For now, you just get them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't want to be a gardener. I don't want to try and figure that out. I think that there's a lot of things to be good at for this to come out right. So we just we get our produce from Golden Harvest, who's local here in Kittery, and all their produce is really good. So for now, we're leaving the growing to somebody else.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. We, us people from New Hampshire have a pretty short season anyway, so you'd have to grow tons of plants. You'd have to freeze them. You'd have to store them or dehydrate them. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
I think you could pull off the garlic up here.
Oh, easily. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely
right?
could pull off the garlic, but habaneros maybe not. I would say, yeah, that's it's a lot of work, and I know some people that did it for a while, but they grew so much in size company wise that they actually had to like source out like you guys do. So I think you had a
Yeah.
leg up there where you're not trying to manage all that on your own at the moment. It
Yeah, I
takes a
think,
lot of
and
patience.
so what's cool about the hot sauce community is you end up going to these festivals and events and you meet lots of people. And like, we were at something just about a month ago, and we were right next to somebody that was like, oh, we have, they were not even, it wasn't even a hot sauce festival. It was like another event.
Mhm.
And they were there for conservation, and ended up that his wife and family has a farm and they do habaneros. So like, just meeting people in some of the in the hot sauce community, and like when you're out there doing events, might lead to other options down the road. So
For sure. I find that community is a big part of this thing because, you got the people creating the sauce or the products, and then you got the farmers, and it's very symbiotic,
yeah,
and I find that a lot of other companies, not even just like farms, but hot sauce companies, they're all pretty like welcoming, willing to share information. And I know, and you guys know that New Hampshire's laws are not very cut and dry on how to make hot sauce, right? Because I tried to do this myself a few years ago, and they said, or basically they're like, you either need a co-packer, which I would not want to do personally, that's because I'd like to have my hands on everything, or you need to rent out a kitchen, and both of those are very expensive endeavors. Like you really need to like, it just was not an option for me. So that's why I decided to talk to people like you.
Yeah.
And
It's
yeah,
definitely a cool community. I mean,
yeah.
anytime you have like a group of people, especially sort of on the road at times, everybody's sort of, fighting for their space.
Yeah,
It's a cool community. People sharing ideas, being creative together. It's been great. Like I know from the beginning, we've had a couple of people that have really been instrumental in helping us get to, we're not very far along, but
yeah.
they've been helpful to getting us this far. So it's
yeah,
been cool.
no, and that's monumental. Like how long has it taken you to get from like the conceptual stage of making hot sauce to where you're at now? Like, how have you seen this grow over the? How long have you actually
Without the,
been a commercial
tequila,
company?
the tequila delay.
Yeah,
Well, I would say we're actually a very slow grow because, for most of the time it was a hobby, and then it was in 2020 when we did our first commercial batch. But we've had a few life events happen, that as they do, and so our efforts to be able to like focus energy on rolling this out have been kind of start and stop. So we've only been doing the events for a couple of years, and that is my favorite. Is like when you go and you like, because we have online sales. We're in a few markets locally, very locally, but at the events you get to see somebody try your stuff. And when you see people's faces and you're like, it's not like anything you've ever tasted. And then people say that back to you. You're like, oh, okay. So I would say we're still slow growing, and my other job is a service based business. So figuring out how to market and sell products is a completely unique thing. So it's a little bit we're learning as we go,
Yeah.
and
yep,
we're slow rolling how we're getting out there, but it's getting there. It's just a little at a time.
yep.
So
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Take
yeah,
your time because it'll all fall into place when the
that's
time
right.
is right. And I I saw you guys on. So hold on. Let me rephrase. When I started doing this a few months ago, I wanted to start by talking to all people from New Hampshire or like Maine, but like the whole New England area. And you guys came up first, basically when I searched. So
As we should. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
No, I thought that was cool. So, that's why I started trying to get in touch. But I'll say I saw you guys on the list for the Spicy Shark Fest, the hot sauce
Uh,
festival coming up. You guys are
Yeah.
going to be there. That's
Yeah,
cool.
what
for
an
sure.
excellent, like that is the first event we went to, and that was, this will be our third year doing it, in July, and that was the first event we ever went to, and what, like, what a first event to go to. It is just so great. Like
Yeah.
Gabe from Spicy Shark just does such a good job. There's food trucks, there's bands. It's like a good time for everybody, whether you like hot sauce or not. And we were just like, oh my gosh, this is what this is about. Like this, you go and there's just like lines of people waiting to like try your stuff because
professional hot sauce eaters.
Yeah, they're so excited to try it. And like it's like a high that lasts for like a couple days, like when you come off of that and like, oh my god, everybody's so excited. Everybody's there because they love hot sauce and they're excited to hear what your story is and they're excited to like try it. And then even the other vendors going around and you're trying other people's sauce, you're like, oh my god, what is going on there? That's really good.
Right.
So it was a great first event, and I hope we get to go every year.
For sure. It's got to be surreal being a vendor there. I went to the first year and I just walked around talking to people and I loved eating hot sauce, I thought it was pretty dope. And I'm going again this year, so I'll actually see you guys there. I'm going as press this year, so I'm going to walk around recording. We'll actually, if you want, I'll stop and talk to you guys on my camera and have you back on the show. It'll be a blast. I'm pretty pumped because a few people I've talked to will be there, and then I'm excited to meet a ton of new people too. So that's what this whole thing is. It's all community, and I truly love that aspect of this whole thing. And I'll another thing to tag on to the Hot Sauce Fest, which is really cool about it, is it celebrates everyone's product, but also I believe that there's a hot sauce for everybody out there, whether you like hot or not. There's definitely one that you'll like the flavor so much that you can tolerate a little burn for a few minutes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I just want to keep it up, guys. Keep up what you're doing. I noticed. I'm sure many other people are.
What's great though, and you're right, there's a sauce for everybody. There's not a lot of non-vinegar hot sauces out there in the world, so
yeah,
hopefully people that like the non-vinegar based hot sauces might find us.
Yeah.
So what's different, I think, too, is like we don't use vinegar in the process, but which means that you can put it, like our tagline is try it on everything. Like, because there's no vinegar, you can go sweet, you can go savory, and you can put it on like everything. Like, and so a lot of times people come up because they're going around, and some sauces are like made to be paired with fish or made to be paired with this, and so people are like, well, what should we pair this with? I'm like, everything.
It's kind of wide open. Yeah,
everything.
And because I think the flavor profile is so complex, because it is like a reduction, that even if you just use a little bit to flavor something, like I don't need as much hot stuff as she can, so a little goes a long way with me. Right. But a little bit isn't like with other ones. Sometimes if you use just a little bit, maybe depending on the pepper, it's just burn. It's still, you're cutting the burn. This is like, I don't know, you still have a lot of flavor. Even though you use a little bit, it's just like flavor packed.
That's awesome.
Because of the reduction. Yeah. I mean, so like what we like to say is there's, 5 ingredients, 1 surprising sauce, because it's only habaneros, onions, garlic, oil, salt. But the reduction really pulls all that caramelization of everything and the smokiness out. So it's just layered. And that heat is balanced with the sweet of the caramelization. So it just really...
people often think there might be added sugars
like, is there
or something,
sugar
but
in
it's
here?
just the caramelization of that stuff.
Did you put butter in here? Like, no.
It's pretty fatty and rich.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to try this, and I'm going to read your little jar real quick.
Cool.
Volcanic ash infuses deeply browned sweetness of caramelized onions and garlic with the sizzling heat of habanero peppers, the full-bodied richness of olive oil, and a hint of sea salt. This hot sauce is layered and complex, unlike anything you have ever tasted, just like you guys said. And you know what? So like I was saying before, I don't try the stuff until I'm talking to my guests. And so I won't even like read the ingredients fully until I'm talking to you guys. So I didn't even realize there was no vinegar in this until now. I knew there was caramelized onions and habaneros and garlic, but I think that's just because I saw it on your website, I believe. But I didn't go down the whole list. And yeah, there's only 5 ingredients, and that's amazing. You don't see that very often. You can read everything. And I don't know. I'm very excited, guys. I'm
It's what
very, very
helps make
excited.
it makes it shelf stable too.
Yep.
Just like
Yeah.
the fact that you don't just not a lot of water in there for bad things to sort of breed.
So, since it's not an acidified food, what's it like to get this approved by the state? Do you need to send this out for testing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing I was thinking when we were like, I didn't really think commercial, but I was like thinking homestead license,
Yeah.
like that was the first thing I thought maybe. And so you have to send your process to state of Maine and they have to
Yep.
go through it. And I was back and forth emailing with the woman who was going to do the testing. And she was like, well, what's your stabilizer? Like, because she didn't see anything in our ingredients that did it. I was like, and at the time, like, I'm not a scientist. Like, I'm like, I know it's shelf stable because I have some on the shelf from like 6 years ago and it's
Yeah.
still good,
Wow.
and
But we couldn't tell you exactly.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. But
Yeah.
but then when she tested it, like, so we sent it, we just sent it, they did it. We wrote our process up. And what makes it shelf stable is the reduction of any water in it at all. And so you have to do like a different kind of test to find out that it's going to be shelf stable. It's a bricks test instead of a pH test. So
That's super fascinating. I
Yeah.
see. Thank you for sharing that information. Because like I had mentioned, I didn't know this didn't have vinegar in it, and you just don't see that much
Well, I
with
think
hot sauces.
99% of the time, people think hot sauces. They'll think of vinegar. 'Cause that's
Right.
kind of what's in everything, and that's what. So they start from that place, and not being cooks or scientists or anything, just wanting to recreate this thing that we had on a vacation. Like there was no vinegar in the memory, so there wasn't going to be any in this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and they were like, you got to figure out how to. You get your numbers, and it's not quite shelf stable. Like we were going to compromise and put the, it was like we'll figure this out.
Yeah.
And
In the commercials setting, you have to like make sure you like obviously in our kitchen for ourselves, like it doesn't matter. But like when we did the whole thing, they set the level even more when you're doing it for yourself versus like a true commercial kitchen, I guess, or
Right.
true corporate. So like, yeah, you have to cook it down. Like it takes a good 12, 13 hours to get there.
That's crazy.
But it's still perfect. So it's a very difficult recipe. Like I don't think we'll ever be able to co-pack it.
No, I guess that was my point. It's like it's unique, not it's unique because we were sort of stubbornly trying to figure this thing out,
Right.
and not like have a preconceived idea of the end. Like
Yeah.
Not professionals.
Well, hey, I love it. That's awesome. So I don't know if you guys knew this. Last year they actually changed the law. I found this out a few weeks ago that last year they changed the law, and you can have the state come and inspect your home kitchen, and you can do hot sauce commercially. So I don't know if that's a game changer for you, but that was a piece of advice that I took, and I was like, it made me think. And I saw another local brand, Cousin Dean's hot sauce. That's what they actually do, and it says it on their bottle. It says made in an inspected kitchen, residential kitchen by, it says the state inspected it and stuff. So if that's helpful for you guys in the future,
I think it'd be
definitely
helpful
look
if they
into
wanted to inspect my friend's kitchen.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Or somebody else.
Yeah.
No, we have like
that's a lot.
These dogs, like we're not going to keep them out of our kitchen. And
That's fair. That's
also,
fair.
one of the main things that I was talking about before is in our house, like even with a 6-burner stove,
Going
going
nonstop.
totally nonstop, we got 42 jars. Nobody's going to make any money doing that. Like we really need the volume of a commercial kitchen.
That's fair.
Otherwise it's just, I'll do what I did before, which is I'll eat half of it and give the rest to my friends for Christmas. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
My daughter and I being outside in the yard.
Yeah,
hanging with respirators in the yard, even.
Exactly.
So like you're saying that this process became exponentially longer when you went to a commercial kitchen. So have you been able to maintain the same consistency as when you were developing it? Has that been a challenge? Like,
Yeah,
what's
we're
that
dialed
been like?
in now.
You're dialed in.
It was very hard. I think so. The first time I told you, we weren't sure if like at hour 9 and we were still cooking it. I was terrified. I mean, it was like a huge investment for us to like
Right.
go to this commercial kitchen, rent an Airbnb, haul all the stuff, get all the produce, like spend all this time. And here we are. First day went like, oh my God, we got that part done. And then the second day we're cooking it down and waiting and waiting. And you know, the commercial kitchen people are so great, but it's like hour 9. And I was like, that is not my sauce. Like, that's not it. And hour 10, that's not it. Hour 11, that might be it. It might be coming. And like, finally, you know, it's starting to taste like our sauce. So then the next time we did it, we broke our batch. We overcooked it and everything fell apart. It de-emulsified. And so, and then the next time we did it, we almost broke the batch. And so then the next time we did it, like, so it took like about 5 times to figure out what the right timing was, what's too much, what's not, when do we add this and when do we not. So it was very tricky and pretty expensive.
The
and
scale up is an expensive thing to try to
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so we ended up like, you know, losing a couple batches in the process. Thankfully, the first batch worked, because if it didn't, then we would have just thought it's not possible. So the fact that the first batch worked was like really good, because we knew it was possible. And then we were like, oh my God, but are we ever going to be able to do it again? And batch 5 it was the one that was like, okay, it came back out like our original sauce. And then from then on, we've been able to be consistent with it. So we have like every once in a while, like, we'll get a batch. Like we had one batch where produced our like our rojo sauce, which is a limited edition. The peppers we usually use are like the orange habaneros, and this time we got a big red habaneros, like and they were like no wrinkles on them at all. They looked like Roma tomatoes. They were just so full of water that they just changed everything. Still delicious, but not quite our sauce. So, for the most part, we got it dialed down. And every once in a while, when you're doing small batch, you get like thrown a little sideways. So,
for sure. That's really cool, though. I mean, like, it's a learning experience. And Garth, you keep saying you're not professionals, but I'm looking at a jar of hot sauce in front of me.
I know, right?
Professional in my eyes, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
If you're doing what you love, whether it's a hobby or, you know, an endeavor that you want to be a full-time thing, and you make it look good and people are giving you feedback where they like it or love it.
Like you win awards.
You win awards. Like
win first prize.
That's professional to me, man.
Yeah,
That's
no, I mean,
professional to
we
me.
love it. Like, so, I mean, the coming up with a logo was really cool and fun. And, you know, some of our early logos that Garth drew, you know, inspired the final logo. And it's been a really fun journey for sure. And we're really proud of like the products. Like you know, other people are like, well, what else are you making? And we're kind of like, there's one sauce to rule them all for us. Like, you know, and I'm nothing against like people that have all the profile and all the different sauces. Like that is super impressive. But for me, when I go to the fridge, I have tons of hot sauces in there, and I always reach for the Volcanic Ash because that's what I want on it. And you know, I blend it with other things depending on what I'm making, but it is kind of the one sauce to rule them all. And I have friends who like the flavor, but they're like, it's too hot. Can you make a mild version? I'm like, no, it's not for you. Like, you either like it or you don't. Like, you're either our people and you want our sauce, or you want some other sauce. And there's lots of other sauces out there. You don't have to don't have to eat this sauce. But then eventually, if they like that smoky flavor, they'll be like, oh, I'll mix it with a little mayonnaise, or I'll mix it with some ranch, and then they'll end up eating it anyhow. And pretty soon, their heat tolerance is up, and they're spooning it in their mouth like a baby.
I mean, like, I'll be doing in a little bit here. Yeah, like Garth said, for him, a little goes a long way. And that can be for anyone. But like I said, there's a hot sauce for anybody out there, whether you like hot or not. And there are ways to dull down the heat. Like you said, mix it in with something. It can kill some of the heat while maintaining the flavor. So wait, let's pause.
One thing I'd like to do with it that we haven't is I can see it in like an ice cream, to be totally honest with you.
Okay.
Like a vanilla ice cream with a fudge ripple swirl. Just a small amount, not a crazy
Okay.
amount, but just a little bit. I think that would be the best.
We actually had one of our somebody that loved our sauce. They posted that on our Instagram, like a picture of vanilla ice cream with fudge sauce and volcanic ash. We're like, okay, yeah, really, try it on everything. Like, and then we tried it, and I was like, oh, that's damn good. Like, that's really tasty. And so then Garth's like, we should like package that. I'm like, we're not making ice cream now. Like, let's just stick with what we got
Just
going on.
suggest it on the site. Let's pause. What are the mascots' names again? I forgot.
So Leroy and Hank. Leroy's, Leroy is this guy. He's been part of the process since the beginning. There's some pictures on our old Instagram of him going to get the produce delivery with me and like picking up the peppers. And we don't give him the sauce because it's not good for him, but they're around. And then the other one is Hank. He's younger. He's like new to the Volcanic Ash family, but
they're identical. You've seen one. You've seen them all.
Yeah. It's cute. I love doggies. So Garth, you did the logo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he did the inspiration for the logo. So he's a great artist. So he did there was like a one that looked like a cross. What do you call it? Crosshatch. Yeah. So he did like all the original, like if you look in our Instagram, some of the older posts will have the original logo. And then we gave that to a friend of ours, Nin from Shine & Co. She does amazing graphic design and branding. And she kind of took all that and kind of made it, what it is now. Like she just exploded it with all the color and the layers. And we kept saying the ash has to be the part that is, it's like a little mountain, little volcano, big ash. Like that was the thing. Like, and so she kind of made it really below and like got all the layers of clouds and ash out there. And so but it was inspired by Garth's drawing, and his vision and us talking, like, I don't remember, I think we were like on a beach somewhere, like it should be like this and a little bit like this. And so really it was all from Garth's drawing that the logo was inspired.
I love it. I think it's a really good logo.
Thank you.
So may I ask you what number 13 means?
Yes. So number 13 is the 13th recipe, is the one that made it to the commercial kitchen. So it was 12 in our house. And then the 13th time we made it, like the 13th, because we had to change the process. And when we went to the commercial kitchen, we had to change that. Mm-hmm. And so that was the 13th iteration of Volcanic Ash. And then since then, it's been 13 volume 1, 13 volume 2, 13 volume 3. So now that we've locked in our recipe in the commercial kitchen and all the process that we do for that, then that is what 13 means.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. There's a lot of thought into this little jar, guys. It's very cool. I love it. There's a lot of great companies out of New Hampshire. And I've talked to most of them, I think, at this point. But I've never seen anyone with a jar like this. That's very unique. And it must be, your sauce is thick, looks thick.
Super thick. Yeah. And that's one of the, I think it's actually a little bit of a hard thing, is like the shape of the jar is perfect for the sauce because it is thick. You can't use one of the typical tall jars because you could never shake it out. And so you could get a squeezy bottle, like a ketchup bottle, but I hate plastic. I don't want to contribute to plastic. Right. I don't want plastic leaching into the sauce. I don't like it at all. And because you have to hot fill. So when you hot fill, into plastic, that doesn't seem like a good idea. No. So we haven't quite figured out, how, so that jar is why we have the kind of jar that we have. And when I was making it at home, I'd use the little 4-ounce ball jars for it too. So that's kind of where that came from. It makes it hard for us thinking about getting into restaurants because you can't put a jar like that on the table.
Right.
Where you can put the shaky ones out, but we'll figure that out as we go along. There's got to be a solution there for us. So.
Yeah, I know that there must be. I'd love to see this on a restaurant table somewhere local.
It's also quite hot, so just for the average person that's looking for sriracha, they're not gonna this is a little much for that, you know.
Okay,
So,
okay.
you know, you have to have a little bit of a knowledge base on there before you squeeze a big dollop on there.
That's pretty fun. So you kind of covered one of my questions though with the ice cream. What are some other creative or surprising ways that customers have used your product before?
I got a really good one. So one guy who also just I knew him from different avenues, and I gave him a jar of hot sauce as a thank you. He was like a different business associate, and he texted me. He's like, "I really love your sauce, and I was thinking about your sauce, and I was at this coffee place where they do like a spicy mocha." And so at home, I took your sauce and I took a little bit and I stirred it into my coffee and it was delicious. And I was like, what? I had like not thought of that. And I'm like, love coffee and I love like spicy Mexican chocolate.
Yep.
And so I did do a video of that, like, on our Instagram one time where I just took probably too big of a spoon, but like, I took about half a teaspoon and stirred it into my latte and I was like, tried it. And I was like, yeah, it's delicious. It's like just a little bit of spiciness. It gives you that like, a little more kick to your coffee. I don't do it every day, but I'll do it every once in a while.
That's fun.
And that came from a fan.
That's awesome. And I've been hearing about spicy coffee a little bit here and there lately. I think it's up and coming. But what surprises me about using your sauce in particular, coffee, is that there's onions in it. So I wonder, how does that affect the flavor of coffee? That's got to be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's so much sweetness, I think it's also garlic, which is something you wouldn't think of in the
coffee. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's that sweetness, and
the caramelization,
the fatness of that sort of olive oil. I don't know. It speaks by without being too oniony, too garlicky. Somebody called it like that. I'm gonna say it wrong. Omago or mago. It's like that umagi. There's another sort of flavor profile.
Umami.
We're not.
Umami. It's like sweet, savory.
People try it.
I think it's umami.
That's what that is. So it could be sort of like,
well, it's also like, I'm Cuban, and they're pretty serious about their coffee, but like if you're Cuban and you're starting your day, you get your bread like lathered with like butter, and when they dip their bread and butter in the coffee, you get this like layer of butter on top of your coffee. That doesn't stop anybody.
No.
So it's like a little similar. We got a little oil in it. Like it's still delicious.
That sounds bomb. I might try that. I love coffee. I drink so much coffee. I probably had like 3 cups of coffee today. So maybe next time I'll put a little volcanic ash in it and let you know what I think. Maybe for my tasting episode I'll try that too. I don't know. But
I mean, I don't put it in black coffee because I haven't tried that. I always do it with like a little. I'm vegan, so I put it in with like my almond milk latte, yeah. So, but it's probably good no matter what,
Yeah. Do you guys have like a go-to dish that you use this for? I know it says to use it on anything, but like, what's your go-to? And I'd love to hear yours, Maki, because you're vegan. So I don't get many vegan people on this show.
Do you want to say your favorite meat on it?
Teriyaki wings, probably.
Okay.
Like a bunch of wings in a bag with a little bit of this, some brown sugar, some soy sauce. That's the marinade and the glaze while they're cooking, and it's awesome.
Okay. I love wings.
Yeah.
From our friends who do, like, what I hear the most from people is like, you have to have it on eggs. Like people love it on eggs and steak. Those are the 2 things that I hear the most that people like love it on. Me, like, I definitely put it on everything, but I am a vegan. I eat so much more than salad, but I am a vegan that hates salad dressing. So, but what I love doing is mixing. I'll put on a plate. I'll put some hummus and then I'll put some volcanic ash and I'll mix it together. And then I'll put some, like my salad on top of it, spinach, and I'll cut it up and then put some like protein on it, like tofu or whatever. Okay. And then I have this spicy, delicious, full of protein salad, with the volcanic ash. I also put it on every wrap that I make, anything like that. I also have like vegan eggs that I love it on too. So.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
all those things sound awesome. I mean, I will eat pretty much anything really, except I'm not really. That's a lie. It's a total lie. I'm not really a fish guy. I'm not really an egg guy. My partner likes both those things, but I love hummus and I love salad and I love wings. So all those things, I think I can figure out something good to use us on. Like anything really. Have
Yeah.
you had it in
And
pasta?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, on the back, like we have these little info cards. Like if you order it online, we'll put these like info cards, and then in the back it has like all these different ways, like straight up or stick it in soup. I put it in like split pea soup. I'll stick it in there, and it gives it like the smoky flavor too. It's good. In pasta, totally. I'll put it like sometimes I'll do just a pasta with like oil, and then the volcanic ash like with extra oil, and do that. Of course, I like the heat, so I can take that much in it. Otherwise, I'll put a little bit in a different kind of sauce so that it has that smoky flavor.
Awesome. Have you always been a chili head, Mackie?
Yeah, like, I have always loved hot sauce. Like I've always, before I knew there were so many different kinds of hot sauce, I just, started like when I was a kid, I just layer things with black pepper because my parents are Cuban, like, and Cuban food is very flavorful, sabroso, but it's not spicy. So Mexican spicy, Cuban is not spicy. So it wasn't something in our house. Like we didn't have spicy food, but I was just like loved it. I loved I would just put all different kinds of peppers on it. And then it was probably like I don't know why, but like in college I was like got turned on to eating all these different kind of hot sauces, and then I would just crave it. But I won't go eat like you go to some of these hot sauce events. People are eating like just the peppers themselves raw, or eating the hottest thing they can. Like
Yeah.
I would never be one of those people. Like I need to have. It's about the flavor more than the heat. Like I like it to be hot, but I want it to be with the flavor, not just burning.
Exactly. I'm right there with you. I mean, that's why I have a show called Fire and Flavor. I like both, but I used to also be kind of like I used to kind of be like a shock jock with the heat and stuff, and then I was like, not very enjoyable. I want I want something actually edible, and I find that to be the same with a lot of those like super hot peppers, and like at that first Spicy Shark Festival, I watched Mike Jack eat like 60 Carolina Reapers in a sitting. I was like, bro, you're crazy. You're so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think he did it for charity or something. So it was for a
You're
good
after
cause,
something
but
more
oh
than the
man,
flavor,
he's gonna,
right? You gotta
yeah,
be after something
yeah,
more than the flavor.
absolutely.
Those endorphins start kicking in, and
Yeah.
you're probably like you're having an experience.
Oh,
but,
100%. That's like the bomb. Awful.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say it.
We watched like hot ones, of course, like
Yeah.
anybody that likes hot sauce. And everybody gets to the bomb. They're like, so I ordered one of those just to see like what it was. And it just the burning is real, but it's not even just hot, it just stays on your
That's
tongue.
gross.
And it's really not flavorful,
Yeah.
and it burns on your tongue. So I was like, ooh. And so even when I watch people eat our sauce that maybe it's a little hotter than their usual profile, I'm like, but it's going to resolve, and it resolves pretty quickly. So you get the heat, but then it kind of moves on. So
spice is temporary, unless it's something that falls in your stomach and tries to kill you.
Yeah.
So I just mentioned that Spicy Shark Fest. How has that affected your business? Like, has that brought you a little more attention? Like, how's that been for you?
Always been helpful and sort of like it's certainly one of the most helpful people in the community getting started. It was awesome, and letting us know where events were, and so
Gabe.
been helpful.
Gabe himself, like I ran into him because it's a small community. Like I ran into him at in town, and I was like, "Hey, Spicy Shark, I gotta bend your ear," and he like totally gave me all kinds of time, and I was like, I hadn't done a commercial cook yet, and I was going to, and he was like, "Okay, let's talk about like scaling," and he gave me a whole thing, and I was like, I could be his competition, but that's not the community, and our sauce is very different than his sauce, so I don't think he felt like that, and he was just willing to sit down and just talk to us and like, hey, you know, here's what I can tell you, and here's the things that I would like I can tell you about having gone down this road. So it was really really nice. And then going to the event itself, yeah, like I said, the community is great. Like the first time I went, I didn't have like a good inventory system. I was writing everything on paper, and somebody from like Burke's Hot Sauce came over and was like, okay, yeah, I've been there, and you believe me, you want to do something different. And like just like those little tips have been great. And then sometimes you get people coming around that, you know, you don't ever know who's going to come taste your sauce. And maybe it's like you next time you're going to be there as press, and like whoever the right person is sees that, and then you get invited to another thing. And so I just think it's really expanded our idea of what it means to be in the hot sauce community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've met Gabe before. He's super nice, super nice guy. It's like for owning a company that big, you just kind of wouldn't expect him to give some people the time of day, and maybe that's just me being in my head. But I was very surprised, and he's a great dude. So
he really is. Yeah.
So aside from like doing events like the fest, do you guys do farmers markets ever? Like what?
We've done a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't. We don't have a regular thing. You know, we're trying to figure that out. Like, you know, as we're getting going, like where do we best put our energy when we have, you know, with the time that we have? Where's the best place to put it? Is it going to the local farmers market? Is it like where should we put it? And we're still figuring that out. So
cool. And I noticed you're wearing a Volcanic Ash t-shirt. Do you sell those on your site? You do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a ton. We just have a couple things.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have like a regular tea and like a muscle tea. And then yeah, well, you know, I have a lot of ideas for products, but you know, we'll roll them out as we grow.
As we can.
Yeah. Right. And everything costs money,
like,
man.
Make sweatshirts, make hats, make this. I'm like,
I want a hat too.
Yeah. Slow it down. I feel that. So what would you say to someone that's trying your hot sauce for the first time? Aside that from it's unlike anything you've ever tasted before.
It's, you know, it's something you have to experience.
I like that.
Yeah, like you got it. Are you ready for like the experience, because it's different, you know?
All right, cool.
I guess we're gonna find out.
I know, because you're saying it to me, and I'm looking at it, and I think I'm gonna pop it open.
Get ready for the experience, because you're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah. Well, we'll see what you say. I don't want to lead you in your moment.
So we're gonna give it a shot now, and I'm just gonna go over the ingredients again. I know we did earlier, but still,
it won't take you long.
Everyone has ADD. So caramelized onions, habanero peppers, garlic, olive oil, and a hint of salt. So, and I want to say thank you. I know you hate plastic, but you have a nice perforated seal.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. All right.
We actually upgraded now. Our newer, you know, like I just found out the next batch we're gonna do all of them have button tops. So
that's so nice. Ooh, that smells awesome. So it is a little loose on top. I want to just get
just shake it up.
Yep.
Shake it up before you open it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna close her back up. Oh, come on.
So it's a little bit like natural peanut butter. You can the oil and product can separate. So you got to shake it up, and then once you put it in the fridge, it'll firm up a little bit more.
And I think like natural peanut butter too, like over time, like the second half of the jar is not as liquidy as the first half of the jar as you're using it usually.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
man.
That oil.
Here we go.
Though.
Oh wow. It doesn't smell spicy. That's what's like getting me here. Is like I know that it's gonna be. I can't stop smelling it. I can smell the onions. It's okay. Right? I smell the onions, the garlic.
It's deep.
Yeah, you know? And I'm just gonna like point my camera down into this real quick. See if I can focus. It looks rich. Looks very rich. So, all right, camera's focused. Oh, puppy. All right, I'm going to give another little spoon stir just because I shook it really well and that helped. But we're gonna give it a spoon stir. Sounds like I'm calling it the spoon stir. Anyway. I like the consistency of it. And it is a little spicy. I took a rather big spoonful.
You totally did.
It is habaneros.
Yeah. I'm going to do another one.
Which is kind of interesting, right? People often want to know like how hot it is. And I think habaneros have a uniform kind of heat generally. And it's that.
I like that I can pick out the ingredients too. Because you don't, obviously, it's a blend and a reduction, and then you kind of like bring it back to life. But, you know, I can taste the onion in it. Like I can feel the onion on my tongue. I can taste the garlic. It's very subtle. I don't really get saltiness out of it because it is just a hint of salt, which I also do appreciate, because some sauces are either way too salty or way too vinegary, which you don't use the vinegar, which we've established. But let's try it again.
Dessert, huh? So yummy.
It is yummy. It's hot, but it's not like, if you're someone that eats hot sauce regularly, like this guy, it's not killer.
Right.
But it could be if you use too much. Like if you use too much of anything, right, it'd be killer. But you know, I've eaten 3 spoons of it, and I'm not dying. I think it's awesome. I think I would love to like roast something like this. Like maybe like Brussels sprouts would be good, or
totally
chicken. Maybe even like zucchini if I'm feeling pretty adventurous. No, this is a great product, guys. I think everyone should try something like this. If not, they should try this.
Yeah.
Not just something like this, they should try this.
Well, thank you.
It's really not what I was expecting. I'm not sure what I was expecting, actually. But it wasn't this, and I was very pleasantly surprised, because the onion is on the forefront, like I said. And then the heat's kind of the afterthought. It kicks in after. But it's not intolerable. I've had some sauces that are just, they're flavorful, but I can't eat 3 spoons of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's like that. There's heat is there, but it resolves.
Yeah,
and it's like balanced with the soup.
Yeah, no, it goes away pretty quick. Like it's on my tongue, but it's not like, you know. I love this. I think this, dude.
What's gonna happen is you're gonna like it now, and then you're not gonna be able to stop thinking about it, and then you're gonna like it more, and then you're gonna not be able to stop eating it, and then it's all you're gonna want.
I think you're right.
That's my prediction. That's my prediction.
I think you're right. I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of. It reminds me of like the onion. It reminds me of like fried onions if they were spicy and liquefied. And I love fried onions. Like it's a compliment. It's a compliment. Kind of a weird comparison, but that's just what comes to mind, is like kind of like holiday time, you know, like you got those like feasty things. That's bomb. I love that, guys. Thank you so much. I love this. So I picked this up at Dan's store, Big Dog Sauce Co. Really nice dude. Really nice dude.
Super nice.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised to walk into his store and see a wide variety of products. And I had emailed, I had been like in contact with you guys for a little bit before, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity. I'm just gonna get this now. So cool. So we're gonna wrap things up here in a minute, but just give us a plug. Where can we find your products? Where can we find you next?
Well, online, certainly.
So volcanicashhotsauce.com. You can always find us there, and we personally package and ship that out to you wherever you are. And then we also are a little bit in some local stores around here. We're at Golden Harvest and Carl's Meat Market and Tender Crop Farm. So Golden Harvest and Carl's Meat Market in Kittery and Tender Crop Farm in Dover. And we're going to be at the Spicy Shark festival in end of July, and we got a couple other places that we're looking into registering, but we haven't finalized them yet.
Awesome.
And we're gonna be at the Brooklyn New York Hot Sauce Festival in September.
Very cool. Brooklyn. Awesome. So you guys make it around. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Trying.
Very cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on and giving me some time. I know it took us a bit, but we finally made it, and I truly do love this. I'm not just saying it. I think it's awesome. So please keep it up.
Thank you for taking the time and seeking us out. We really love that. So
And anytime,
Lady
guys.
Hampshire. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Cool.
Yeah.